Did you know that customer name, email address, product names, cities are all stored the same way in Python? They all are strings. And without strings, you could not make or you could not analyze customer data, clean data sets, or even print a proper message. So let's master Python strings. A string is simply a text enclosed inside a single or double quotes. For example, if I define here a variable name and I'll store my name in that. I'll define a variable city and let's suppose I'll store the city in that, right? Now let me print the type of these two variables. We have a name and we have a city variable, right? And you see both are strings. So it can be enclosed with single quotes or double quotes, right? And even if we talk about data sets also, anywhere referred to as name, city, product name, email, they all are stored in the strings, right? But there's one thing which is very important. We call it as string indexing, like how this data is stored. For example, if somebody says to me to print each character of this variable name, right? Then if I want to refer to each of these variable, they are stored on various index, and index always starts with 0 in the Python, right? Okay. So for example, I'll use a loop here. We can use a loop here in order to print each of this alphabet in the variable name. For example, I use because I want to run my loop from 0 index to whatever the length of this variable is, right? And for that I need to run it over the over this loop, right? For from 0 to whatever the length is. For that we use a range function which will help us to repeat this process from 0 to whatever the length of the variable name that we have, right? And this len function will help us to get the length of this string. Okay, that we'll learn in the methods we have, right? And I want to assign a variable here that will do traverse. Okay, so I'm running a loop here. This is my variable which will help me in traversing from 0 to whatever the length of this name variable is, and I will print each one of this, right? So for I in range from 0 to length of this till the time this condition remains true. So what I want to do, I want to print my variable. We use square bracket here and we'll give here index inside that. Okay, so this is what we are using, right? And I'll hit enter. You see I'm able to print each of this character alphabet one by one. And if I want to print in single line, in the print function we can pass here one parameter with the name end equals to, and after printing each of this alphabet I want to end with the space, let's suppose, right? If I don't want to, I'll just remove that. It will print exactly like this. Okay, so I'm here assessing each variable, each character one by one alphabet in this string, right? Okay, so that this is indexing, right? So this is at 0 index. Okay, so this is at 1 index, right? So we can use this indexing in order to print it one by one. But for example, somebody says that okay, you just print me the first three characters only, or first three alphabets only, right? That means I want to do what? I want to print the variable this name 0 index, 1 index and 2 index. Can I print like this way? No, not possible, right? And if yes, I can do separately, but what if I have to let's suppose do slicing, right? Somebody says that okay, you get me first half of the string only, then in that case we have to use a range. So for example, here I want to print, let's suppose the first three alphabets, right, which is present in 0 index, 1 index and 2 index. So accordingly it should be 0 colon 2. That's how I'm using. In a range I am giving that whatever the characters which are or alphabets present on the index from 0 to 2, I want to print that. But there is one catch. So whatever the end index, this is my starting index, this is my ending index. Now whatever the end index I have, it will always print one less than to that. Okay, you see here, right? I have given the range 0 colon 2, that means I am expecting it to print 0 1 2, but it is only printing till 1. That means whatever the end index I will give, it will always print 1 less than to that. So for this we have to give one index above to at the point wherever we want to end. It's very simple, right? Okay, just take care of this thing. This is, we call it as that we are giving the index in a loop, and we are trying to do slicing, right? This is, we call it as string slicing. Okay, let's suppose you want to print the entire string exactly like this. Okay, so what you do, you just give colon here, you don't mention starting index, you don't mention ending index, it will just print it, right? So in this range we have three parts generally referred to. Okay, we have starting, we have end, and we have given the step size also, right? That how we want to move. But somebody says that you move in the backward position, right? You move backward, or we call it as reverse. Okay, so how I can do that? If I'll say that, okay, I want to do reverse, what was the length of my string? We can even find that first of all, right? What is the length of our string that we have? Let me print it. Okay, so the length of the string is 8. Now if I want to print in the reverse order, then I would be mentioning here name, and I will be saying I want to start it from 8 index and I want to go till 0 index. But I am going from 8 7 6 5. In that case my step will not be in positive side, I have to decrease it 8 7 6 5 through. So for that case we have to give -1 here, right? But you also know that whatever the index we mentioned where we want to end, we have to give one less than to that, which is if I'm giving 0, it will stop at 1. You will see here, right? Okay, so it just stopped at 1, right? Okay, so it is not printing p here because it was at 0 index. Now you mean to say that, okay, you give one index less than to that. For example, in the previous example we were giving one upper, like if I want to stop at 3 I was giving 4. Now if I want to stop at 0, I cannot give 1, right? Because we are going in reverse order. Let's suppose I'll give here -1. Okay, now you see it is not printing anything. Now how it is possible that it goes till -1? It don't understand this positive to negative indexing, right? So in that case, if somebody told you to reverse your string, right, you don't mention starting index, you don't mention ending index. With this I just want to get the entire string but step in the backward direction, right? So with this way you'll be able to reverse your string. Okay, so this is negative in this step that we are giving so that it can move in the backward position. But what if somebody says that, okay, you print the last index? For that you need to find what? You need to find the length of the string. Let's suppose it is 8. You know it starts from 0, will end at 7, right? So I want to print the last index. I know t. But is there any another way? Another way that we can print last index? Yes. So we use negative indexing here, right? And negative indexing from the right side, if I'll start that talk about from the right hand side, it is referring to -1 -2 -3 -4 like this way. Okay, so I'll say name, and I'll in the square bracket I give the index -1. This is, we call it as negative indexing that I'm giving, right? So if you want to print this t, either you use this, or either you can simply this -1. It will print the last index present in your string, right? Because with this you need to find the length of this, otherwise you can't manually count it, right? So this is one way we use that. Okay, and yes, even I can do that if I want to print the last 3 indexing, right? Okay, so I'll say I want to print -1 to -2. Okay, but the step was positive here, one I need to mention it, right? -1, or I'll say -3, right? And you see it's starting from -1, that is 2, and going till 1 less than to that, So which is mine till -2 it will print. Okay, so -1 -2, right? So this was -1, this is -2, right? Okay, -3 it will not print, as already mentioned. The mentioned index, ending index won't count in that. Okay, so if I'll give here positive, then it will not work, right? Why? Because going -1, it is going backward side, right? That is why we need to mention here. Okay. So I hope with this you understand strings, string indexing, right? Negative index or slicing. Okay. So in the next lecture, we'll make our output look more professional using Python string formatting. So follow my index sign for more videos. Thank you.